opening and invitation to the journey. When you allow yourself to pause, just for a breath, and notice the space between one thought and the next, something remarkable begins to surface. A silent field of awareness that holds everything you are. This script is an invitation to step together into that dimension of presence we often overlook, the living reality of the now. Through the lens of metaphysics, quantum mechanics, and modern physics, each word you'll hear is designed not merely as explanation but as a doorway, guiding you past the chatter of the mind and into the deeper essence that shapes reality itself. Before we dive in, I'd like to ask you for something simple yet powerful. Subscribe to the channel Dazzle of Dawn and like this video. It may appear to be only a digital click, but in truth, it carries a symbolic resonance. Each act of support expands your quantum field, sending a clear signal to the universe. You are ready to welcome, integrate, and radiate knowledge that has the potential to reshape your life and to ripple outward, touching countless others through your light. As we journey together, we'll weave through ancient wisdom traditions and groundbreaking scientific discoveries. Metaphysics reminds us that time is not a rigid chain of minutes and hours, but a living fabric, elastic and infused with consciousness. Quantum physics points to something astonishing, that the observer, simply by noticing, influences what is observed. And quantum mechanics reveals that, at the most intimate layer of existence, reality is not fixed substance, but a dance of probabilities, vibrating with possibility. Perhaps you felt a glimpse of this in a quiet moment, watching a sunset where the weight of the past and the pressure of the future dissolve, leaving only the immediacy of now. That sensation isn't a trick of the mind. It's a reflection of a quantum collapse, the moment when attention fully anchors itself in presence. This is the point where science and spirituality begin to meet, where direct experience proves as valuable as any formula or theory. So, as you listen, I invite you to settle in comfortably, whether seated or lying down. Let your breath become a companion, each inhale drawing clarity, each exhale releasing inner noise. This is not a video to rush through, but to inhabit, like strolling through a moonlit garden, where each step reveals fragrances and textures hidden in the dark. Wisdom often lives not in explanations alone, but in the pauses, the rhythm, the quiet resonance between words. What we are about to explore is more than an abstract theory or philosophical exercise. It is an opening into the realization that the present moment itself is a living portal. In the blocks ahead, we will witness how spiritual traditions and modern science converge to reveal the same truth. You are not just drifting through time. You are an active participant in the creation of your experience. The now is not a fleeting instant lost to memory. It is a vibrant field, always alive, waiting for you to notice, enter, and cultivate. The nature of the now from a metaphysical perspective. As we cross the threshold of the first block, we realize that the now is far more than a chronological marker. It is not simply the tick of a clock. It is a state of being, a clearing where consciousness recognizes itself as living presence. Ancient metaphysical traditions referred to it as the eternal present, a space where the boundaries between what has been and what is yet to come dissolve into silence. When we learn to rest in this clearing, we create room for new meanings to bloom, free from the distortions of memory and the weight of expectation. Thinkers across cultures have wrestled with this mystery. Augustine once questioned the nature of time itself, suggesting it only exists as long as it is perceived. Eastern traditions echo this insight. The Tao in Taoism or the here and now of Zen are not mere fleeting instants, but expressions of ultimate reality. These teachings whisper that behind the hours and minutes lies a changeless dimension, one that reveals itself only when we are truly attentive. To view the present metaphysically is to understand it not as a fragment lost between past and future, but as a boundless field that sustains all experience. You don't need to climb mountains or enter temples to touch this truth. It can be felt in the simplest actions of daily life. Take, for instance, drinking a glass of water. When your full attention rests on the act, the coolness of the liquid, the movement of your hand, the freshness traveling through your body, time seems to stretch. The mind stops racing backward or forward, and a quiet plane of awareness opens. This is more than relaxation. It is a subtle reorganization of your inner state, one that allows new answers to arise to challenges that once felt immovable. Metaphysics also teaches us that the present is creative. It is the womb where potential takes form. When you begin to see the now as fertile ground, intention becomes clearer, no longer weighed down by old habits. Choices stop being mechanical gestures and become conscious seeds planted in the soil of reality. From this perspective, responsibility deepens. You realize that each moment you are participating in the invisible web that gives shape to your world. I recall a personal moment when this truth became clear. Faced with a life-altering decision, I chose to sit quietly before acting, letting the mental noise settle like dust in still air. In that silence, I recognized that the answer wasn't hiding in some imagined future, but was already present, waiting to be seen. The decision that emerged carried not only logic, but a calm lucidity that felt both timeless and trustworthy. Since then, I've understood that stepping into the now is aligning with a wisdom that exists before thought. So, as you hear these words, allow yourself to sense time differently, not as a rigid sequence of minutes, but as a generous presence offered in every breath. This shift may seem subtle, yet it carries immense power. It frees creativity, dissolves unnecessary tension, and brings you closer to the core of who you are. The metaphysical now is not merely an idea. It is the doorway through which life itself flows. And each time you recognize it, you strengthen your connection to an inexhaustible source of possibility. The now through the lens of quantum mechanics. As we move further on this journey, we step into a fascinating threshold where metaphysics meets science, the realm of quantum mechanics. At its core, it tells us that matter, when examined at its most intimate level, does not follow a single fixed script. Instead, particles exist in a shimmering state of possibility, oscillating between countless outcomes until an observer, whether conscious or not, enters the equation. This principle brings us closer to the understanding that the present is not an empty stage, but a living field that bends and reshapes itself according to the quality of our awareness. Or picture an electron, invisible to the naked eye, drifting like a wave of probability. It does not exist in one defined place until measured, until some context calls it into being. Only then does it localize, revealing itself in a single spot. This mysterious quantum dance suggests something profound. Perception itself is not passive. To truly notice is to participate, to influence the unfolding of events. Each instant, therefore, becomes a subtle act of co-creation, a silent dialogue between consciousness and the universe, where infinite forms are waiting to emerge. When we apply this principle to daily life, the implications are transformative. The way you observe a situation changes the way it unfolds for you. Consider facing a professional challenge. If you rush forward with restless conclusions, you narrow your vision. But if you pause and rest your attention in calm awareness before responding, new possibilities appear, solutions you may not have imagined. It is as if reality itself rearranges to meet the quality of your perception. This requires no complicated technique, just the willingness to fully inhabit the present before taking action. Quantum theory also introduces us to the concept of superposition, the coexistence of multiple potential states before any outcome is finalized. In human terms, every moment carries within it the seeds of countless futures. When you slow down and see with clarity, your choice acts like a beam of light collapsing the possibilities into the ones most aligned with your intention. This perspective frees us from the weight of determinism, reminding us that the present is not merely an echo of the past, but the womb of new beginnings. I recall a moment when I stood before a life-altering decision, whether or not to move to a new city to expand my work. Instead of getting lost in the cold logic of pros and cons, I gave myself permission to breathe, to feel, to notice what images surfaced in the stillness. In that pause, clarity emerged, an option that would never have appeared in the rush of analysis. It felt as though I had tapped into a channel of guidance that had always been present, hidden within the quantum field of the now. Seen from this perspective, the present is no longer a static point on a timeline, but a vibrant portal linking intention to the very fabric of the universe. To dwell in this state is not simply a mental exercise, but a quiet commitment to live with creative presence. Each breath becomes an invitation to remember the subtle power of awareness, the power that arises when science and consciousness meet, here, in the immediacy of the present moment. Quantum physics and the present moment in action. As we continue, we begin to see that quantum physics does more than reveal the invisible structure of matter. It also gives us powerful metaphors for understanding the present as a dynamic field. Take, for instance, the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. Scientists describe particles that remain mysteriously connected, no matter how far apart they are separated. A change in one instantly reflects in the other. This hints at something extraordinary. The now is not an isolated point in time, but a resonance that ripples through space, linking events, people, and thoughts in a subtle web of coherence. This realization invites you to look at your own relationships and experiences with fresh eyes. Have you ever noticed moments of synchronicity, a chance encounter, an unexpected message, a door opening at precisely the right time that felt too aligned to be random? Quantum physics helps us see that these are not accidents, but expressions of an unseen order. When you cultivate presence, your vibrational field comes into resonance with information that was already available, waiting only for your awareness to bring it into form. In practice, you can explore this truth in everyday life. Before reacting to an emotionally charged situation, take a moment of silence. That pause is like the collapse of a wave function. Within it, infinite responses coexist. By allowing calmness to arrive before words or gestures, you naturally select a path that is clearer and more aligned with your higher values. This simple act, breathing and observing before responding, can shift the entire course of a conversation, a decision, or even the emotional tone of your day. I remember facing a difficult conflict where my first instinct was to react sharply. Instead, I chose to create inner space, as though I were observing the scene from the outside. In that pause, something softened. A new understanding surfaced, carrying with it both serenity and clarity. What seemed like a deadlock began to dissolve, revealing pathways that had been invisible before. That moment showed me that the present, when inhabited fully, becomes a living laboratory, where consciousness directly influences tangible outcomes. Another fascinating parallel comes from physics' description of potential energy. Energy that exists in a latent state until some force awakens it. In much the same way, the present moment contains untapped creative energy, waiting to be activated by conscious intention. Each thought you nurture with focus acts as a catalyst, shaping the trajectory of events. Recognizing this, you begin to see that you are not only a participant in life's flow, you are also a contributor to its vibrational tone. So, allow yourself to view the present not as a narrow slice of time, but as fertile ground, where science and spirituality quietly converse. In this space, even subtle choices can reorganize the fabric of your experience. The present ceases to be a line marching forward and instead reveals itself as a living ocean, responsive to the clarity of your perception, the wisdom of your decisions, and the compassionate rhythm with which you meet the world. Between emotion and observation, the present as an inner laboratory. By the time we arrive here, it becomes clear that the now is not just a philosophical idea or a phenomenon explained by equations. It is also the living ground where our emotions and thoughts intertwine, shaping the way we perceive and create reality. When we develop the capacity to observe our inner states without haste or judgment, the present transforms into a silent laboratory, one that reveals what truly stirs beneath the surface of appearances. Quantum physics reminds us that the very act of measuring alters what is being measured. This metaphor beautifully captures the influence of conscious attention on our emotional life. When you notice anxiety rising or irritation taking hold, and you choose to remain with it without labeling or resisting, something remarkable happens. The emotion begins to reorganize itself, dissolving, shifting, or offering clues to its hidden origin. In that space of witnessing, clarity emerges, allowing you to act in ways more aligned with your true self. Practically speaking, this can be applied in everyday situations. Imagine yourself before an important presentation or a meaningful meeting, flooded with racing thoughts. Instead of pushing the tension away, close your eyes for a moment and breathe deeply. Feel the energy moving through your body, as though particles were dancing and waiting for your direction. That simple gesture helps collapse the turbulence, converting it into focus and steady presence. I recall a moment before addressing a large audience when a wave of nervousness rose within me just minutes before stepping onto the stage. Instead of resisting, I sat quietly, grounded my awareness in the weight of my feet on the floor, and envisioned every cell of my body as an antenna tuning into a greater field of calm. That conscious choice did more than soothe me. It allowed the words to flow naturally, as though the message had already been formed, waiting only for an open channel through which to speak. Contemplative traditions call this process witnessing. It is the art of observing without merging with what is observed. When you stand as the witness, you become less captive to automatic impulses and more the creator of the responses you offer the world. This shift births a quiet freedom. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can choose the place from which your words, gestures, and decisions arise. In this way, the present reveals itself not as neutral space, but as fertile ground, where emotion and perception align to generate new configurations of reality. Each conscious breath, each deliberate pause, strengthens your ability to move gracefully between feeling and choosing. Within the silence of this practice, awareness discovers that even in the midst of challenge, there is always a still point available, a nucleus of clarity that blossoms to guide your next steps. Contemplative practice, anchoring in the quantum now. At this stage of our journey, it is time to transform knowledge into lived experience. Nothing solidifies understanding more deeply than direct practice, when body, mind, and awareness merge to reveal the silent field that sustains us. Contemplation does not have to be elaborate. It begins with simple gestures performed with full attention. Here, I invite you into an exercise designed to help you experience the now as a source of clarity, serenity, and creative alignment. Find a comfortable position, whether seated or lying down. Let your eyes close gently and allow the weight of your body to settle into the ground or the surface supporting you. Begin breathing slowly and deeply, noticing the air as it brushes your nostrils, fills your chest, and expands your abdomen. As you exhale, release the tension that clings to your muscles. With each breath, imagine inner space opening, as though you were unlocking windows to a quiet garden where awareness can rest effortlessly, watching thoughts drift without attachment. Now, bring to mind a situation in your life that requires clarity or balance. It may be a professional decision, an important conversation, or even a personal goal. Visualize this situation as a small sphere of light resting gently in the center of your chest. Instead of rushing to solve it, simply allow it to remain there, held within a field of calm attention. Notice how fresh insights begin to appear when you create this interval between stimulus and response. Shift your awareness to your body. Feel your feet against the ground, the texture of your skin, the rhythm of your heartbeat. Each physical sensation becomes an anchor, reminding you that you are here, present, whole, and rooted in the moment. This embodied awareness dissolves the fragmentation that so often accompanies agitation. In quantum terms, it is like a collapse of dispersion. The countless possibilities of distraction condense into a single point of focus, where creative calm resides. If your mind tries to pull you toward the past or into the future, let those thoughts pass like clouds moving across a wide sky. Acknowledge them, but do not follow. This simple act of noticing without losing yourself strengthens your role as co-creator of experience. Just as the observer shapes outcomes in the quantum laboratory, your lucid presence shapes the flow of your emotions and choices, inviting more coherent pathways to emerge. When the exercise feels complete, open your eyes slowly and take in the space around you. Notice the colors, the sounds, the temperature of the air. Let the sense of inner spaciousness remain with you as your gaze returns to the world. The quantum now does not vanish when the practice ends. It remains available, waiting to be recognized in every gesture, every word, every thought. Carrying this awareness forward allows you to walk with greater ease and purpose, turning ordinary moments into portals of expansion. Sustaining awareness in everyday life. By now, we understand that the quantum now is not only a refuge we touch during meditation, but a posture that can infuse every aspect of life. To sustain this awareness in daily living means carrying the freshness of presence into ordinary tasks, replying to messages, preparing a meal, walking to work. Each simple gesture becomes a reminder that reality itself responds to the quality of your attention. Quantum physics speaks of coherence, systems vibrating in harmony to create stability. When we apply this principle to everyday life, we begin to see how moments of mindful awareness establish coherence within us. This inner alignment doesn't remain private. It radiates into relationships, decisions, and creative pursuits. A mind ordered from within naturally shapes more order in the world outside, for inner clarity becomes the compass guiding outward choices. Try beginning your day with a brief moment of silence before reaching for your phone or opening your computer. That single minute of pause works as energetic calibration, reminding you that you have the freedom to set the vibrational tone for the hours ahead. Instead of being pulled immediately into the tide of notifications, you anchor yourself in stillness. Like the quantum observer whose choice of focus influences how the experiment unfolds. I remember when I first adopted this practice upon waking. Before my mornings disappeared into news headlines and urgent messages, and the rest of the day felt like a chase with no finish line. But once I began breathing consciously before taking any action, something shifted. Decisions carried more lightness, and even difficult conversations seemed to unfold with a natural rhythm. That tiny act of creating space between waking and doing transformed the quality of my presence. It can also help to place small anchors throughout the day, a meaningful object on your desk, an inspiring phrase within view, or even a phone reminder to pause and breathe. These cues act as discrete portals into the quantum field of the now. They don't demand that you abandon your responsibilities. Instead, they gently invite you to remember that awareness can live inside every task, dissolving the old idea that presence and productivity are opposites. And in this way, living the present ceases to be an occasional effort and becomes a way of being. You start noticing that the most meaningful opportunities arise when you are fully immersed in the moment, not rushing toward the next step. This posture creates space for subtle intuitions to surface, sharpens discernment, and deepens authenticity in your interactions. The quantum now, when sustained, transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, reminding us that each moment carries the boundless potential of creation. The now and the expansion of consciousness. At this stage of our journey, it becomes clear that practicing presence is not merely about sharpening focus or reducing anxiety. It is far more expansive. It opens doorways into broader dimensions of consciousness. When we rest in the now, we cultivate fertile ground where subtle perceptions can bloom, revealing aspects of reality once hidden from view. It is as if the silence of presence fine-tunes our inner senses, allowing us to recognize larger patterns that weave together mind, body, and universe. Quantum physics shows us that, at the subatomic level, nothing exists in isolation. Everything vibrates in interdependence, woven into a field that knows no rigid boundaries. This principle resonates deeply with ancient spiritual traditions that speak of unity, wholeness, or the infinite field of possibility. When you anchor your awareness in the present, you not only align with inner balance, but also tune into a living network of information and meaning that extends far beyond personal experience. Practically speaking, you can nurture this expansion by dedicating a few quiet minutes at the end of each day to revisit your experiences through the lens of presence. Ask yourself, when today was I fully here? Where did I notice life flowing through me rather than around me? This reflection is not about judgment, but about training the eye to recognize moments when consciousness shone most clearly. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to perceive the sacred even within the simplest situations. I recall a period when heavy responsibilities consumed most of my energy. In response, I began setting aside moments each night to gaze at the sky before sleep. With no expectations, I simply breathed and watched the stars. Gradually, something inside me widened, worries softened, and a quiet sense of belonging began to emerge. That practice revealed to me that expansion is not a distant achievement. It is hidden within the choice to give space to the now. This widening of perspective also refines the way we serve the world. When we are rooted in the present, our actions are no longer driven by haste or fear, but arise from a more integral place. Professional decisions, heartfelt conversations, and even small acts of kindness become carriers of a silent wisdom that inspires and uplifts those around us. Expanded consciousness, nourished by presence, generates ripples of real impact in our shared reality. In this way, The quantum now reveals itself as a portal into a more expansive sense of identity. You are not only the observer collapsing probabilities, but also the living expression of the very field in which all things vibrate. Recognizing this does not distance you from practical life. On the contrary, it deepens every experience. To remain in this state is to walk through the world with an attentive heart, capable of transforming ordinary instants into manifestations of wholeness and wonder. Integrating the now into conscious creation. As we approach the final stretch of this journey, it becomes clear that the quantum now is not only a place of inner rest, but also a launching point for conscious creation. Every thought, every emotion, every intention arising within you acts as a subtle impulse, guiding the flow of unfolding events. With mindful awareness, we gain the clarity to choose which seeds we wish to plant in the fertile soil of the present, knowing that each one carries the potential to reshape our experience. Quantum mechanics illustrates this beautifully. Before being measured, particles exist in a state of pure possibility. In a similar way, our choices remain scattered until a deliberate focus gives them form. When you direct your attention toward a desired outcome or quality, whether it be courage, gratitude, or prosperity, you create a vector within the quantum field. That focus invites experiences vibrating at the same frequency to emerge, much like tuning a radio to a channel already broadcasting its signal. But to bring this understanding into practice, start small. Choose something simple to co-create in your day. Perhaps harmony in a conversation or a spark of creative inspiration. Take a few seconds to visualize this outcome, allowing your body to feel it as if it were already true. Then release rigid expectation and return to presence. The act is like tossing a smooth stone into a still lake. Your intention sends ripples outward, but it is the surrounding silence that allows the waves to travel and touch distant shores. I recall a time when I began a project that felt far too ambitious for the circumstances I was living in. Rather than drowning in fear, I practiced seeing the present as an ally rather than an obstacle. Each step forward was guided by conscious pauses, by breaths that aligned my thoughts with action. Gradually, opportunities appeared in unexpected ways, as though the universe itself was responding to the quiet commitment of keeping my awareness clear while moving ahead. Integrating the now with creation does not mean controlling everything or manipulating destiny. It is about entering into partnership with the subtle forces that shape existence. The clearer your presence in the moment, the more easily you recognize pathways that once seemed hidden. This collaboration between consciousness and reality deepens your sense of agency, yet it also invites humility, for it reveals the mystery of something greater working alongside your choice. But living this way transforms ordinary life into a stage for discovery. Each morning, as you open your eyes, you can remember that the day ahead is not predetermined, but open to the dance between your focus and the infinite field of possibility. This perspective restores freshness to what once felt routine and breathes hope into what once seemed unchangeable. In the quantum now, the power to create is not a burden, but a gentle invitation to participate, lucidly and generously, in the miracle of being alive. Closing and invitation to the ongoing journey. We arrive at the final step of this journey, and perhaps by now you sense that the present has taken on new shades before your inner eyes. Everything we have explored, metaphysics, quantum physics, and practical examples, points toward the same essence. The now is not merely an interval between past and future, but a living field infused with meaning. To recognize this is to open the door for each moment, however ordinary, to reveal its hidden fullness, even in the midst of daily challenges. The awareness awakened during this exploration remains available whenever you choose to pause, breathe, and feel. There's no need to chase extraordinary states. Instead, cultivate a simple, attentive gaze, one that notices beauty and wisdom even in the smallest gestures. Such a posture nurtures a quiet joy, one capable of softening the noise of the world and sustaining a serene clarity, a source from which wiser decisions and more harmonious relationships naturally arise. Practicing the quantum now does not mean retreating from responsibility. It means recognizing that you can fulfill your roles while remaining rooted in connection with the creative source. Whether you are engaged in a heartfelt dialogue, focused on a professional project, or resting quietly, every situation carries the invitation to let presence illuminate what is unfolding. This simple shift in perspective transforms routine tasks into opportunities for conscious manifestation. Before we close, I invite you to seal this journey with a clear intention, to keep returning, as often as needed, to the silent point within you. Let it be your anchor, a reminder that time is not your enemy, but your ally. A flexible fabric upon which you can weave experiences more aligned with your essence. The present then ceases to feel fleeting and instead becomes an intimate companion, always ready to support your growth and expansion. And if this message has touched your mind or heart, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to Dazzle of Dawn. Each gesture strengthens a network of people committed to cultivating awareness and transforming collective reality in a positive way. By supporting messages that elevate, you expand the quantum field of possibilities not only for yourself but for everyone, becoming a co-creator of a movement that inspires clarity, compassion, and human growth. Thus, we close another stage of learning, but the path remains open before you. Let the ideas and practices shared here take root in your daily life. Remember, each breath, each glance, each word can become a meeting point between science, spirit, and practical living. May you continue to inhabit the now with gratitude and courage, discovering in every instant the freedom that arises when consciousness and reality dance together in harmony. And so, see you in the next video, with more information on everything that involves growing, evolving, transforming, and manifesting. See you soon.